I would never want anyone to mention anything about my family, so I'd never do it about anyone else. It's not what we do. We're fighters.
2 minutes later.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a fucking rapist off his ma. You know what I mean?
Okay, strong statement.
Just going back and forth on Twitter.
They're on the same level, they can do that, so. Trash cans.
The entire MMA world just exploded, and it's all because of one comment that went way too far. Paddy Pimblett thought he was making a joke about Dan Hooker's grappling skills. But what happened next turned into the most vicious social media war we've seen all year. We're talking about careers being threatened, dead friends being disrespected, and now Ariel Helwani is calling this the most disgusting feud in recent memory. And here's the thing nobody's talking about. This isn't just some random beef between two fighters trying to get attention. There's real money on the line, title shots being destroyed, and Dana White himself just confirmed that social media drama is now officially affecting who gets championship opportunities. So buckle up, because what started as trash talk has turned into something that's going to change how fighters handle their business forever.
People are saying, like, just engage. He's older than that lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker.
That's true.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a fucking rapist off his ma.
So here's exactly how this whole mess started, and trust me, it's worse than you think. Paddy Pimblett was doing an interview, feeling confident, probably thinking he's just engaging in typical pre-fight banter. He decides to take a shot at Dan Hooker's grappling game with what he claims was a hypothetical joke. But here's where Paddy screwed up massively. In that exact same interview, when asked about Ilia Topuria's personal family drama, Pimblett suddenly becomes Mr. Respectful. He literally says family is off limits, that there are certain lines you don't cross, and that he hopes Topuria's situation works out. The guy draws a moral line in the sand about respecting personal boundaries, then immediately crosses his own line by making some comment about Hooker that apparently hit way too close to home. And get this, fans immediately started calling him out as a hypocrite. You can't play the respectful card for one fighter, then turn around and say something completely inappropriate about another. That's not how this works.
Never want anyone to mention anything about my family, so I'd never do it about anyone else. It's not what we do. We're fighters. We say what we want about each other. Say anything about me, I'll say anything about him. But don't mention families, you know, that's below the belt. And I wish him nothing but the best with it, lad. I hope it all gets resolved. I hope it all gets resolved and he gets to see his child, lad. That's the main thing. But for now, I'm fighting for the world title. He's sitting on the sideline, so when I win this belt, I'm the champ. Don't care if it says interim on it. When I win this belt, I'm the champ, and if he's not back by June, July, he best have to vacate or get stripped, and I am the champ.
But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Dan Hooker saw Paddy's comment and lost his mind. We're talking full nuclear mode. Hooker fires back with "It's on sight, you fat F," and then does something that made everyone watching feel sick to their stomachs. He brings up Ricky. Now, for those who don't know, Ricky was someone incredibly close to Paddy who tragically took his own life in 2022. Hooker's exact words were, "Ain't said S when I thought we were mates, but you're not a very good mate, are you, Paddy? R.I.P. Ricky." Let me tell you something, I've covered MMA drama for years, and this crossed a line that should never be crossed. You don't bring up someone's dead friend, especially someone who died by suicide, in a social media beef. That's not trash talk anymore, that's psychological warfare. And the worst part, Hooker claims he thought they were cool before this. So either he's lying about their relationship, or he's the type of person who brings up your dead friends the second you upset him. Either way, it's disgusting.
There's a little conflict going around with Dan Hooker and Paddy Pimblett. I was wondering if you were able to, see it or what you thought about it.
I didn't see what they're doing.
Just going back and forth on Twitter.
They're on the same level, they can do that, so. Trash cans.
Now listen to this part, because Paddy's response shows you exactly how personal this got. He comes back swinging, but he's not just angry, he's hurt. And you can tell. Paddy writes back, "Thought we couldn't be mates because I'm ranked above you. You took a hypothetical joke about how bad your grappling is, and responded by talking *** about my mate who committed suicide. Now that's lowest of the low, and on sight is fine by me. You're utter dogs *** fighting." You see what happened here? Paddy connects the dots that a lot of people missed. He's saying Hooker was already jealous about rankings, already had beef brewing, and used Paddy's comment as an excuse to go nuclear. That's the real story nobody's talking about. This wasn't about a joke going too far. This was about Dan Hooker being bitter that Paddy's ranked higher, and when he got the chance to strike back, he went straight for the most painful thing he could think of. That's calculated cruelty, not an emotional reaction.
Just want to say he has no grappling. He trains with guys. He never compete even the high level. He never compete in jiu-jitsu or grappling. I saw him. He had a fight, grappling fight, and he tapped or he lost. So he's a trash can in the grappling and the wrestling.
And just when you think this drama couldn't get any messier, Arman Tsarukyan decides to insert himself into the chaos. But here's what makes Arman's involvement so interesting. He's not picking sides. Instead, he's dismissing both of them completely. Tsarukyan basically says these two aren't even operating at an elite level, that their entire beef is meaningless noise between fighters he views as equals who ultimately don't matter in the championship picture. That's ice cold, but also brilliant strategy. While Paddy and Hooker are destroying each other's reputations on social media, Arman positions himself as the mature, focused contender who's above petty drama. He then goes after Paddy's grappling credentials specifically, questioning how dangerous Pimblett really is on the ground. And here's the kicker, Arman suggests that recent gym footage and rumors actually support his doubts about Paddy's ground game. So now we've got a three-way situation where the guy who could actually benefit from title shot opportunities is using the other two's drama to elevate himself.
He's been grappling a lot. I know you don't want to talk about him, but how do you feel about his, his grappling tournaments, Steve?
Lad, I heard he nearly got triangled by what's his name?
Shara Magomedov.
Yeah, he nearly got triangled by him, and he can't grapple to save his life either.
It's a tough
He's a
one.
striker, and he nearly got triangled by him. Know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever got any interest of taking those sort of exhibition type things? You know, RAF have got this kind of like grappling thing. Is there ever been like a reach out for like a let's do a grappling match for Pimblett, or is that?
I don't know. Before I was in the UFC years ago, when I was coming back from an injury, I done Polaris one time against Stevie Ray. He caught me in a leg lock. That's like the only one I've done in the past 10 years or something like that. I used to do grappling competitions all the time when I was younger and stuff like that, but obviously I'm focused on fighting now. I don't, like, he can go off and do all these other things if he wants, lad, but hopefully he takes his neck doing them.
But Paddy's not about to let Arman play the mature card without consequences. He fires back at Tsarukyan with a shot that's actually pretty clever when you think about it. Paddy starts mocking Arman's grappling credibility, specifically questioning his success in competitions outside of MMA. Here's what Paddy's really saying. He's calling Arman out for doing extracurricular grappling events instead of focusing solely on octagon preparation. And you know what? He's got a point. Paddy frames these outside grappling competitions as unnecessary injury risks that take focus away from actual MMA training. It's a masterful way to turn Arman's criticism back on him. While Arman's out there trying to prove himself in grappling tournaments, Paddy's saying real fighters focus on one thing, winning inside the UFC cage. The subtext is clear. Arman's insecure about his grappling, so he needs validation from outside competitions, while Paddy's confident enough to only prove himself where it actually matters.
I know you've mentioned wanting to be the backup fighter. Have you had any talks with the UFC about actually officially having that position? Because I think you're really the only guy who could be the backup fighter right now.
No, I didn't talk to them, and I wouldn't cut my weight just for money, because it's a hard. But if they ask me, I'll do that. But they didn't ask, so that's why it's better for me not to cut weight and just if I cut, I want to fight.
For sure, it's I mean, cutting weight is so hard.
I already cut in June, and nothing happened, and just I spent my energy for the training camp, for the weight cut. It's always stress when you cut your weight.
Now here's where the business side gets really interesting, and this is something that's going to affect every fighter moving forward. Arman Tsarukyan was supposed to be the backup fighter for the massive Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje fight. That's a huge opportunity. Backup fighters often get paid well just to stay ready, and if someone gets injured, you step in for the biggest payday of your career. But Arman just announced he's no longer willing to cut weight without a definitive offer from the UFC. His reasoning? The promotion never actually contacted him officially, despite all the media speculation. So from his perspective, why put your body through hell for a maybe? Here's what's really happening though. Arman already went through one brutal weight cut earlier this year that led to nothing concrete, and he's not willing to drain himself again for speculation. This is actually a smart business move that more fighters should consider. The UFC has gotten comfortable having fighters destroy their bodies on the possibility of opportunity, without actually committing to anything.
He is. So what about this fucking Arman fella, dude? What are we saying, this posh cunt?
Fuck him. Simple as, lad. I'm getting sick of getting asked about him and people talking about him. Oh, he should be in this interim title fight. He shouldn't fucking headbutt people at weigh-ins then, should he, lad? And punch fans in us when he's walking out, lad, and pull out a title fight the night before. So as far as I'm concerned, lad, he can eat shit, lad, and fucking, as Dana said, he can get back to the drawing board.
Nice. Get that one out of the way early on Arman Tsarukyan. He could have been in the mix for this fight, but I just feel like there's a lot of ulterior factors that people aren't considering other than just his recent win over Dan Hooker. I know he's a top contender, but there's a whole lot that he's done wrong before, and this is the big Paramount debut.
And lad, people are saying, like, just engage. He's older than that, lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's like 2 years younger than him.
That's true.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a fucking rapist off his ma.
But here's where Paddy strikes back with a reality check that's honestly pretty devastating. He puts the blame for Arman's situation entirely on Arman himself, specifically calling out his weigh-in antics and history of pullouts. And you know what? Paddy's got receipts. Remember Tsarukyan's dramatic moments on the scale that caused controversy. Remember his tendency for last-minute fight cancellations. Paddy's making the argument that reliability and professionalism matter just as much as fighting skills when it comes to earning title shots. He's essentially saying the UFC can't trust Arman with big opportunities because he's proven to be unreliable. That's a career-damaging accusation, but it's backed up by Arman's own track record. If you're a promotion trying to book massive fights that sell pay-per-views and fill arenas, are you going to bet on the guy who's pulled out multiple times, or are you going with someone more dependable?
I obviously am not one of these fans, but some fans thought Arman should have been the one to get a 155 title pound shot.
We knew that would happen too.
Of course. Did the headbutt play any factor in the decision to not go with him? It did, right?
A lot of things have factored in, you know.
And get this, Dana White himself just confirmed that Paddy's accusations are actually backed up by UFC policy. White explicitly stated that Arman's headbutting incident with Dan Hooker at the weigh-ins directly affected his title shot opportunities. This is huge news that nobody's talking about enough. The UFC president just went on record saying that a fighter's behavior outside the octagon can and will impact their championship chances. This isn't speculation anymore, it's official company policy. Dana's message is crystal clear. We're watching everything you do, not just how you fight. Your professionalism, your reliability, your conduct at events, your social media behavior, it all matters. This completely changes the game for every fighter. You can't just be skilled anymore. You have to be a complete professional because one stupid moment can derail years of hard work.
I think it was in LA. You were gonna fight Islam, you messed up your back. What's the recovery been, for, and like what happened? How did you get injured in your back before the fight versus Islam?
So I did the MRI after the fight, and it shows like I don't know how to explain in English, but I have a gryzha.
Translate. Let's see. Hernia.
So I have that thing.
Okay.
And I may need surgery, I may not. So we'll see if it's gonna bother me again. I gotta do surgery.
Gotta remove the hernia.
Yeah, remove it.
Gotcha.
So,
was it pretty painful?
Yeah, my back was stuck. I couldn't move.
Man.
And then in 2-3 weeks.
Now let's talk about the real reason behind one of Arman's most controversial moments, because this story gets even more complicated. Tsarukyan finally revealed why he had to pull out of that massive UFC 311 fight against Islam Makhachev. He had a debilitating hernia. That's a legitimate medical issue that could have been career-ending if he fought through it. But here's the problem. By the time he explained the real reason, the damage to his reputation was already done. Fans and media destroyed him for the withdrawal, calling him unreliable and questioning his heart. The MMA world doesn't wait for explanations. They make judgments immediately, and those judgments stick. This shows you how unforgiving this sport really is. Even when you have a completely valid medical reason for missing a fight, The court of public opinion will crucify you first and ask questions later. Arman's dealing with the consequences of that withdrawal to this day, which perfectly explains why he's being more cautious about committing to backup fighter roles.
Tapuri and Islam, Tapuri has no chance. Whatever. You think Tapuri can beat Islam?
Yeah.
Bro, you
No, at 170,
MMA,
no.
bro.
At 170, no. At 155, yes.
Like working in an interview, guy. You know shit about MMA.
I do. There's no way Ilya Topuria can't.
What's good, bro?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, 165.
No, it's 170 as well.
Bro, Islam fighting 170. He's not 155 fighter.
Yeah, that's why I said at 170 I don't think so, but it's close. But at 155 I think Ilya can beat Makhachev. Yeah, he's very good. No.
He has just boxing. That's it.
He has grappling too.
Where?
He submitted Bryce Mitchell.
But wait, it gets worse for Arman. He found himself in another heated exchange, this time with an MMA analyst over Ilya Topuria's chances against Islam Makhachev. The analyst suggested that while Topuria might compete at 155 pounds, he wouldn't be able to hang at 170. Arman fired back, basically saying the analyst doesn't know enough about the sport to make such definitive statements. But here's what's really happening. Arman's getting into arguments with media members now, which is never a good look. When you're already dealing with reputation issues about reliability and professionalism, the last thing you want to do is start beefing with journalists and analysts. These are the people who shape public perception. They're the ones writing the articles and doing the commentary that influences fans and potentially even UFC matchmakers. Arman's confidence in his own strategic insights is admirable, but picking fights with media members when you're trying to rebuild your reputation is questionable strategy.
At 155 pounds, I don't see anyone beating Ilya Topuria. I just don't. Not Paddy, not Justin. Yeah, all right, there's Arman Tsarukyan out there, and he's the dark horse. Obviously, Paddy and Justin are fighting for the interim title. That's an interesting fight because Justin, better boxer, better wrestling, never uses the wrestling. Even if he did use the wrestling, you wouldn't really want to take Paddy Pimblett down. Paddy's a lot younger, a lot less miles on the clock, a lot less wear and tear. I'm kind of early leaning towards Paddy Pimblett in that fight. But who's the undisputed champ at the end of 2026? So yeah, 2026, Topuria will still be the champ. Yeah, there's Arman Tsarukyan out there, but I don't think that fight will...
Meanwhile, Michael Bisping just dropped a prediction that's going to upset a lot of people, especially Arman. The former champion says Ilya Topuria will not only keep his title, but will remain champion through 2026. Bisping's reasoning: nobody currently in the division can beat him. He acknowledges that Arman is dangerous and could shake things up, but doesn't see a matchup happening anytime soon. Here's what Bisping is really saying: the timing isn't right for Arman, and by the time it is, Topuria will be even more established and harder to beat. This creates a nightmare scenario for fighters like Arman who are trying to break through. If the current champion is going to dominate for years, and you're already dealing with reputation issues, when exactly do you get your shot? Bisping's prediction essentially puts Arman's title aspirations on hold indefinitely, which explains why he's been so frustrated and getting into social media arguments.
Whatever Paddy's saying is like, whatever he's dreaming and thinking, all power to him. We're ready for everything, and we did not go into this fight thinking it's going to be just a striking fight at all. Like, Justin has spent so much time. That's probably the proudest thing I am with Justin, is the amount of time that he's put into his grappling, because his wrestling is so high level. But it's more of the offensive and positional type of fighting. For so long, I remember when we got stopped by Oliveira, and I had to have a conversation with everybody on the team, like, hey, Justin is a high level guy, one of the best scramblers out there. We have some of the best slams out there, the Rampage Jackson type of slams. We're offensive. Justin's style is offensive, and to be a champion, you push people back. You have to put people on their heels. I look at this as when we had the Oliveira fight, we were defensive. We were like, don't get in this position. How do you get out of this position? You can't win fights like that. And you have to win offensive.
Now let's shift gears and talk about Justin Gaethje's preparation, because his coach Trevor Wittman just revealed something that's going to shock Paddy Pimblett fans. Wittman says Gaethje is preparing to show a completely different side of his game, specifically his ground skills. Most fans think of Gaethje as a pure striker, but Wittman's making it clear this isn't going to be a striking-only fight. He's talking about Geeth's improved wrestling and grappling, areas where he's been underrated for years. The strategy is aggressive from the start, using Justin's heavy ground and pound and superior control, instead of just trying to keep the fight standing. This is brilliant game planning, because everyone expects Geeth to try to avoid the ground against a submission specialist like Paddy. Instead, they're going to attack Paddy's supposed strength and try to dominate him there. If Geeth can take Paddy down and punish him with ground strikes, it completely flips the narrative about this fight.
One of those guys that when you grapple with him, his ground and pound is so unique. So unique. He hits people with punches at different angles on the ground that are so effective. And it's top game. Like, how do you know your top game, and how do you know that? Like, Paddy, I think, is very good when it comes to dragging people to the floor. I don't think Paddy's a great wrestler. I don't think he's going to go out there and take Justin down. Obviously, he can slip on the mats. He can time something really good where the hips are up. But I don't see Paddy taking him.
Here's where Whitman gets even more specific about why this strategy could destroy Paddy. He explains that grappling with Geeth comes with unique dangers because of his top control and devastating ground and pound. Whitman acknowledges that Paddy has skills pulling fights to the ground, but then delivers a devastating assessment. He doesn't think Paddy can actually take Geeth down or maintain control in grappling exchanges. Think about what this means. If Paddy can't get the fight to the ground on his terms, and if Geeth can take him down instead, this becomes a nightmare scenario for Pimblett. You're talking about one of the hardest hitters in the division raining down punches from top position. Whitman's basically saying they found the perfect way to neutralize Paddy's biggest advantage while maximizing their own strengths.
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know we can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that at this level. That's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one, and I'm not going to just be standing there to let him hit me back, you know what I mean? So be using me range, keeping him on the outside, and I've got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out. I've been doing a lot of rounds with Luke Riley for this camp, and Luke's got much better technical striking than Justin Gaethje, and I'm having a lot of success sparring with Luke. And obviously one of my coaches, Ellis, who used to fight himself, he's the exact same build as Justin. He's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, and I've been doing rounds with him. He's literally, because he doesn't fight anymore, lad, and he's just a coach, he's just done Justin's style for me. He hasn't got his own style. He's been doing Justin for me, and just the bits what we're working, I can see me knocking him out or dropping him and then submitting him. People are going on about his takedown defense, but if I want to take him down, I will take him down, lad. Simple as.
But Paddy Pimblett is absolutely not intimidated, and his confidence level is actually kind of scary. He's insisting that if this fight happens, it won't go to the judges. He acknowledges Geeth's legendary power, but claims he sees clear openings he can exploit. Here's what's interesting. Paddy's not just talking about surviving Geeth's power, he's talking about finishing him. That takes incredible confidence or incredible delusion, and honestly, it's hard to tell which one. Paddy's painting himself as the more likely fighter to get a highlight reel finish, which is a bold stance against someone known for spectacular knockouts. The question becomes, what does Paddy see that others don't? Is he planning to submit Geeth early before the striking exchanges get dangerous? Or does he genuinely believe his striking can compete with one of the division's most feared finishers?
Like me at all. So the fact that I've got Ellis playing Justin Gaethje for me, and then I've got Luke, who's a better, faster, more powerful technical striker than him, I think it all goes into my favour.
You got Luke Riley above Justin. You're rating him above Justin Gaethje in the striking department already in his career, you reckon?
Yeah. Luke Riley's been fighting Thai in Thailand since he was 8 years old, lad. Yeah. You know what I mean? When Justin Gaethje was wrestling, lad, Luke was fighting Thai and then doing amateur boxing, and Luke's striking is a class above.
And now Paddy drops another bombshell that's going to create even more controversy. He claims that his own teammate, Luke Riley, is actually a more complete striker than Justin Gaethje. That's an absolutely wild statement that's going to upset a lot of people. Paddy backs this up by pointing to Riley's Muay Thai training since age 8, long before Geeth started wrestling, let alone focusing on striking. This isn't just trash talk. Paddy's making a serious claim about the striking pedigree within his own camp. He's suggesting they have fundamental technical skills that even elite strikers like Gietch might lack. If this is true, it completely changes how we should view this matchup. But it's also the kind of claim that could backfire spectacularly if Riley doesn't live up to the hype, or if Gietch's power proves more important than technical fundamentals.
I'm not afraid to speak it out loud. Like, this is our last run. Like, Justin's not, if we don't win this fight, we're not going on. Like, we're not going to go out there and be a gatekeeper and look at money fights and shit like that. It's, he's a goal setter. And his mentality, just like he finished up, I don't know if you watched that video, might as well go watch it if you haven't. We're in his house and the family's having a dinner, and I have that true talk, and I'm talking to his family, I'm not talking to him. And it's the way he ends it, he's like, it's not over, coach. So that's the key to Justin. Justin is very unique. He would fight.
Meanwhile, Trevor Whitman is framing UFC 324 as Justin Gietch's last real shot at the title, and this adds massive pressure to an already high-stakes fight. Whitman's making it clear that the goal isn't money fights or staying relevant, it's championship or nothing. From his perspective, this is Gietch's final serious run at glory while being mindful of long-term health and family responsibilities. That's heavyweight pressure, but it also means Gietch is going to leave everything in the octagon. When a fighter knows it's their last chance, they become incredibly dangerous. There's no holding back, no preserving yourself for future opportunities. It's all or nothing, which could make Gietch even more explosive and unpredictable than usual.
Over, but he knows he's got to be there for the family. He's got to be smart and take care of his health. And but we win this belt. My shoot to the moon type of goal would be, let's go out there and repeat defenses. Obviously, this is an interim title fight, so we're not the champ yet. So we'd have to go win that belt.
The predictions are starting to roll in, and they're not great news for Paddy. Michael Chandler believes Gietch holds a significant advantage, viewing him as the more complete and well-rounded fighter. But Chandler goes even further, predicting that Gietch has what it takes to beat Ilia Topuria later this year if that fight materializes. This shows incredible confidence in Gietch's abilities not just against Paddy, but against the absolute best in the division. Chuck Liddell has also weighed in, suggesting this might be a very tough test for Pimblett, and even hinting that Gietch could pull off a decisive finish. When legends like Chandler and Liddell are both picking against you, that says something about how this fight is being viewed by people who really understand the sport.
Oh man, more skilled, more experienced, I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. Because of his, his haircut and the way he talks and some of the, the strength of schedule. People don't give him a lot of credit, but when I fought him in April in Miami, I'm not going to say that I was surprised because I was expecting the best version of Paddy, but he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there. But Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, which I can't, but if I had to lean one direction, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Ilia Topuria later on this year.
So here's where we stand in this absolute chaos. What started as a simple joke about grappling has exploded into the ugliest feud of the year, with dead friends being disrespected, careers being threatened, and the UFC officially confirming that social media drama affects title shot opportunities. We've got Paddy and Hooker ready to fight on site, Arman trying to position himself above the drama while dealing with his own reputation issues, and Gietch preparing for what might be his last real shot at championship glory. This isn't just about individual fights anymore. This is about how the entire sport handles conflict, professionalism, and the business of prize fighting. The old rules don't apply when every tweet can end a career, and every weigh-in incident gets you blacklisted from title shots. So here's my question for you, drop it in the comments. Do you think fighters have gone too far with social media warfare, or is this just the evolution of promotion in 2024? And who do you think comes out on top when the dust settles, the trash talkers, the professionals, or the guys who can actually fight? If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening behind all the chaos, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into MMA drama, And hit that notification bell because this story is far from over. I'll see you in the next one.
People are upset that Paddy Pimblett's getting the title shot versus Gaethje instead of Armin. What's your take on that?
I don't know. I don't follow that too much, like that politics and that stuff. I mean, I don't know what makes it make sense. You could fight in Armin, I think you have to find the winner.
So who do you got in that fight? Do you have Paddy or do you have Gaethje?
You know, I'd like to see. I like both guys, so it's an interesting fight. It'd be an interesting fight.
I always make you pick one. You got to pick one. You got Paddy. Or
I'd like to see Gaethje pull it off.
You want to see Gaethje pull it off?
So I think Paddy's